Hi dear friends, Ingrid here from Open Journey. I want to share with you, as I journal through the kit for this month, which is peace. So we are working currently through month of February because this just came out. You can pick it up at any time. It doesn't have to be February. Although this is a great study. And we will have a very cool study for today. With a little bit more, we're gonna dig deeper and reveal some beautiful information hidden within the Bible verses we're gonna look at today. So this is our devotional booklet. It has room for journaling. Right in the back, we have the 4-week verse focus, and this is a good approach, revisiting the same verse for the duration of the week, because this way we are giving it a chance to truly sink in, and it's giving us time to study it more in more depth. Just before starting this video, I spent about a half an hour just studying this verse and making connections with other verses, which is just such a fruitful method. And also looking at certain words, doing a little bit of word study, it just reveals so much information and helps us truly understand so much better what's going on and what we are reading. So the theme of peace, which is the theme of this kit, it not only brings us comfort thinking of peace, but it's truly necessary. And besides that, it's so easy to lose, and we have to pursue it. And we're gonna see why. It's very, very interesting. So the verse for week 1 is from Philippians 4, so verses 6 and 7. And it is a verse that we probably read hundreds of times and heard hundreds of times. And still, we know what we have to do, and we still don't do it. And we fall into a downward spiral. And we're going to talk about spirals as well. So this is so interesting. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. This verse is so rich that I think you could actually go and study every word. You could look at anxious, which is very interesting, every situation, and kind of internalize that. Every situation means every situation. Prayer, petition, thanksgiving, which is the key in prayer, present requests, peace of God transcends understanding, guard your hearts and minds in Jesus Christ, which is the key. So I think you could go word for word and do a very deep study. But what I'm going to connect this verse with Psalm 23, which actually I mention it in this devotional, and it's very interesting. I didn't go in depth here just because I'm trying to keep the devotionals shorter, but this definitely, because we meditate an entire week on this verse, it's very useful to just go deeper into it. As we see Lindsay, she has the very useful commentary studies regarding all the verses that are in the devotional. So you can go beyond. There's so much more to this. If you just want to keep it, if you don't have enough time, but still spend some time in the Word, it's very beneficial as well. So let's look at this. This is very interesting. In Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness. Now this is very interesting. If you look at the word paths in Hebrew, so the word path, it's Strong's 4570 and comes from the Hebrew magal. This actually means, it doesn't mean a straight path. It means to roll or revolve, and refers to a path implying a circular or repetitive route. As we know, path is a well-trodden route, and here it refers to a cyclical pattern, staying on the right path. That means, if it's cyclical, it means that we go over it. We go on it over and over again until we have a well-trodden path. This is so beautiful even when it comes to learning, right? You have to revisit something many times until a strong connection is made. I really like this reference. So we're gonna see here, this kind of reinforces the idea that we have to repeat this over and over. We all know this, that we shouldn't be anxious about anything. We should give it to God and ask in every situation for His help and cast our anxieties on Him. But we don't do it. So this has to be a habit and an action that we revisit at least daily and many times a day, because as it says, it has to be in every situation. I want to depict this idea of a circular and repetitive pattern. And if we think of it, just because, as we know, our journey, our spiritual journey and our faith is not stagnant. It always evolves, and we move hopefully closer and closer to God. Therefore, instead of just a circle, imagine like a coil, a spiral, an upward spiral, right? And more we do this, closer we get to God, and more we can rest, trusting that He's there with us. And as we know, the spiral, it's as defined, is a progressive and a gradual upward or downward, but here we're gonna focus on the upward motion. Have a quick little word study on peace, and we see that in Greek is irene, meaning to join, to tie together in a whole. So again, even this circular motion, it's like it's unifying, right? It makes us think of a whole. Even the definition of this word hints to the way we can obtain peace through communion with God. It is truly the only way. I introduced something new for this series, and I mean, it can be applied to anything. It is the mood boards. I don't even know how I didn't think. I love playing with mood boards. They look beautiful. They're very inspiring. And I am planning to do a mood board for each kit, each month, which is kind of a gathering of pieces of elements. I'm going to show you actually this stone with the dove, Holy Spirit, is I made this for the mood board for this kit. And the dove is the rub-on transfers that I have in the shop. I'm gonna show them to you. I don't know if I have them here. So the rub-on transfer, I took this. You have to make sure if it's like a rock, it has to be clean, like no dust or anything like that. But it makes beautiful transfers. So I really like using this. In this case, let me show you the mood board. I'm gonna put it this way. Isn't this beautiful? I'm gonna show it to you. I love this kind of coil of blue thread. It kind of points to this idea of a cyclical pattern, right? Of repeating something over and over. And here I had the rock. I get these wooden frames. I think I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, and these make perfect mood boards. Of course, I would love to hang it because it's just so beautiful. You are seeing these stamps backwards because when I carve, the the linocuts, I have to carve and write the text backwards, because when you stamp it, you have to have it right. So this is flipped over, so you're my piece. So this is the image of the mood board that I include with the kit. So you could collect various elements that kind of point towards this idea of peace, and there are some, you know, watercolors. Actually, this blue sky is from a different kit from the Beautiful series, where I had the Polaroid images, and anything that kind of goes together and brings together this concept of peace. So I just want to share this with you. So I'm going to show you another mood board which I did for the Lent kit, which is coming up for March. So another very beautiful collection of elements, and having this in front of your eyes, it's so inspiring, especially having different textures, you know. It's so varied and beautiful, and they're just tied together by the concept that they point to. So I would like to actually hang them, because they're all loose objects. I will use a glue gun. I think that would hold, because they're such various, and some objects are heavier than others. So I will try and use a glue gun and see how it holds everything together. So back to this. I wanted to make like blue sky with white clouds background, and I do have that in the digital download version of this kit. There are many additional artworks, but I wanted to actually use a mixed media technique, and I tried a few things. Of course, you can use white on blue, just straight paint, you know, straightforward painting, but also you can use something like a wax pencil. You draw before you paint, and then when you paint, the parts that you drew on remain white. And actually, I recorded making this. I was just wondering which technique to use, so I used here the wax pencil. Here I used the drawing gum, and here, ignore the, never mind the stamp. I was just stamping over it. I was trying to see how it stamps over the Distress Resist spray. So I really liked this splattery effect that had, and you can stamp over it. So I think I'm gonna use this one. And actually, I recorded how I made these, so I'm gonna play this for you right now. So I'm trying these 3 mediums on a different paper, just plain index cards. We have the wax resist stick, the drawing gum, and the distress resist spray. So they all have the same purpose of masking areas. So here I tried the drawing gum. I think it's almost dry. Gonna add some watercolor. To this, and then wipe off the drawing gum to see. I want to see the effect we get with this. I have to let that dry. I tried the wax, of course you can't tell here, but I tried the wax resist. So this doesn't require drying. I did the shape of a cloud there. And here I have the Resist Distress spray. And this will just stay on there, it doesn't wipe off afterwards, but it should give us kind of a cool effect. So I'm gonna so this is definitely a beautiful cloud, or can be used if you want to make clouds. This is what I was trying here. That, then we have the wax, and here gonna wipe the watercolor off the drawing gum. Even though I kind of like it with the color of the drawing gum, it's a kind of a teal blue, and this should wipe off. Kind of peels off. So again, it comes off like this. And I think this gives a beautiful effect as well. Kind of in between the two. But out of this, I think I like these two, the Distress Resist and the drawing gum. Right, so I'm gonna use this splattery effect. This is the length, the stamp for the length kit. So I'm gonna use this. That involves spraying and drying it before I come with blue watercolor. So when you use this, you have to make sure you clean the nozzle because it hardens and then the sprayer is kind of useless. So I hope I did a good job last time. And I know I want to use, let me show you. I know I want to use this clear sticker paper. So I'm gonna use this image of Jesus over that, although I would like it bigger. And if you get the digital version of this kit, the digital file, you can actually make it bigger. You can make it smaller, bigger. You can kind of customize the images as you need them, but that should work. So I think kind of looks like a cloud, and this is gonna leave like a raised, because it's kind of thick, it's gonna leave like a raised texture on your page. I'm just gonna dry this now. So this is dry. You're still gonna have a glossy, it looks wet but it's not, it just has a glossy finish. If you can, I'm not sure if it shows. I have a bigger version of this sticker paper. We have it on the white sticker paper, but it's not transparent and I would like the background to show. So I'll probably use the transparent sticker one, which is actually smaller. I'm just gonna use watercolors over the entire kind of watercolor washes. And I want a wider brush to be able to make wide strokes. The watercolors I have here, they're collection of various brands. I just put this together so it's not a certain brand. And I did want to have the brush strokes visible to make it a little bit more dynamic. And that's it. I'm gonna dry this as well. So I dried it, and I'm gonna wipe off these areas where I sprayed. To reveal the white. It looks beautiful. You can even add more color in between the splatters just to make it pop. Here I'm just gonna try one of the distressed watercolor pencils. Just to make it just a little bit more. See, and that makes it pop. It's a beautiful effect. It slightly resembles a blue sky with clouds. Just wanted a hint towards that. And if you want, you can add even more to the page. When I put the watercolor background on, the pages were soaking wet, so it holds up pretty well. It will show through the back, through the other side a little bit. If you can adjust the pages if this bothers you. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of, I work with and these are like beautiful accidents, so I kind of work with what's here now for the next week. So in a way, I like that I already have a started background. It's really cool. So looking at this verse, from Philippians 4, do not be anxious. Now this word anxious, it's very interesting. The Greek for it is merimnao, and implies being pulled in different directions. Isn't that interesting? Being pulled in different directions to the point that you are torn. You know, you're torn about things. And we know this from the start, that in Jesus we have unity. So this anxiety, this being pulled and distracted, it's truly not good for our hearts and minds. And we focus on God rather than being torn, because we are whole in Him. It also can mean to care too much about something, or caring too much, focusing so much on the fear of something. So it literally means to be divided and distracted. Isn't that interesting? And then in Jesus we have wholeness, and He binds us together. I also wanted to kind of show this cyclical pattern, right? As we saw in the Psalm 23rd, about what that word path, which is magal in Hebrew, means. And I just wanted to draw a circle here. Just to remind me of visually of the meaning of path. I wasn't sure how this is gonna adhere over the resist spray. I think it's working pretty well. I mean, yeah, it blends in the page really nicely. Just looks like it's printed on there. I also wanted to make some circular impressions with like blue acrylic several times, just to show the idea of something done repeatedly, like to pursue or persevere. Now that the circle I drew is kind of big, I don't have anything about that size to make an impression. So I found this little plate. It's for plants. But guess what? It is the same size as I drew the circle. Isn't that crazy? Same size. So I was gonna just put some blue acrylic on the edges. Messy for some, too messy for some of you to do, but you can try it. It's fun. I think it's gonna make a good. I don't want the perfect impression. There, it's beautiful. I kind of want to repeat this a few times to kind of show the idea of a repeated action. It's beautiful. Right, you could try different shades of blue to make for a richer impression and give it more depth. I would like to make a few darker splatters of blue. I've been using for a while these awesome it's Artist Loft from Michael's watercolor inks, and they're so easy to use. I'm gonna do a few splatters. This might be too intense of a blue. With water you can dilute it, make some splatters of different intensities. Oh, I thought that was a dark blue. Actually, this is a darker blue. So I don't know. I guess a few darker blues would work too. Like a smaller splatter too. This variation gives it richness. I did not have a final vision of how this is gonna look like, and I think that's part of the beauty of this mixed media process. You can't control it as much, and in a way you get that beautiful surprise in the end. I'm thinking I could actually put like florals on this circle. That would be really cool. Using stamps. These stamps they're add-ons for this kit. I know I will use one of these stamps, or we could use the tiles, which I'll definitely use the tiles for a contrast in shape, but also I'm gonna make it colorful so it's gonna stand out. It's a beautiful abstract accent. I'm just gonna use maybe some in this corner and in this corner. I got some stamps, some ink pads to try these tile stamps with. So I got the archival inks from Ranger, the Distress Archival. I do not know, I never tried them before. I don't know how it's gonna work. So we're just gonna give it a try and see. I just needed something. I usually use acrylic paints for this, to have like a very bright, beautiful impression, especially when you overlap colors. So I'm gonna see how this works. I like to try this, and this. That would be beautiful. I'm not afraid of ruining anything, really. You can always work with whatever marks you make. And it's all meaningful and reminding of the process. I'm gonna stand this first and something else just to see, because I've never used them before. I know I'm not gonna have the same result as using acrylics. No, I think that's a very nice intense color. Just gonna offset this a little bit. This is cool. It doesn't have that the square outline, so it's more like a central element. It goes very beautifully with this. Oh, it's beautiful. I love that element. Try pink there. Oh, that's beautiful. This is such a nice accent. And I think this is good. So yeah, but this is exactly what I had in mind. I like to use a stamp here that says peace. If you're not comfortable or you're worried, free handwriting this on there, I have a stamp for you. Stamped it twice. It was just too stark there by itself. I needed a little bit of fuzziness around it. Peace. And I added here peace in Christ Jesus, which I think is a very important detail. Because I know there are many practices used to try and give you peace, but eventually they'll all fail if they're not if Jesus is not involved, because as we know, he is the way, the only way, the truth, and the life. I like to put here peace be with you, but I like that crushed olive color. So use that. Perfect. Also, I have this I released a few months ago this blue landscape washi that works, at least chromatically, color-wise, so well for this kit. So it can be used. I don't have room to use it now. And for the journaling part, to write down what I talked about the cyclical path and the repetition, how we apply this repeatedly. As soon as a thought or a situation comes that steals our peace away, go back through prayer and petition and with thanksgiving, which is the key, and present your requests to God, and peace will be given. And sometimes it does not last a long time, but we keep going back. Just as I was continuing the thought of the Advent kit of Nung Chepi, now I begin to do that immediately as we lose our way or we fall off the path. Just go back. And I know sometimes it can be discouraging if we do it over and over, but you know what? If we do it over and over, a well-trodden path will be established, and it will be it's gonna be like a second nature to just go back on it. So I think that's the purpose of this. Here, a good spot to do add journaling, and if there's more than just a few words to add, these journaling tickets come in very handy. You can journal on the front or on the back, and because they're skinny and long, they don't take too much space. I like this here, You're My Peace. And because I think at the root of all this is trust. Trusting that whenever we go back to God, He will help us. It helps us not get discouraged in this whole process. I have a little image of a white paper there. That's usually, I indicate that you can put a prompt on there, and I think I would like to have the word trust on there. I have these small sticker words. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I have trust, but yeah, trust. I think there's the word peace in there too, but I included I don't know actually if there's peace in here, but I included with the kit this strip of pre-cut. They're the same size as these, so you can use the word peace if you want it repeated, but I want to use trust because trust is really essential to this whole process. Pretty easy to use. Trust. I mean, the most meaningful part of this whole thing is the process, what we have been doing, so the outcome really doesn't matter as much. And this process is actually part of this repetitive exercise. I like this, it refreshes my soul. I think this is from Psalm 23. And I could have wrote on the back, but I'm probably gonna journal. I mean, I could have wrote on the front, but I'm probably gonna journal on the back. That's why I did that. Have more room on there. And I think this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you found some of the meanings of the words very useful, and that it helps us dig even deeper into the meaning of these words. and it just consolidates the concept even more. I will revisit this probably throughout the week, and I'll probably add more journaling or other elements as I work through it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this inspiring and helpful, and hope to see you soon for another process video. You can pick up the piece kit in the openjourney.faith store, along with many other add-ons and digital versions of these kits, as it helps you be more flexible with what images you need and to customize them for your journaling. Thank you so much. Have a blessed week.